Slok, man makes efforts for the welfare of his family and puts in numerous endeavors for collecting wealth. If one is without love and devotion to the Lord and forgets him, Nanak says, he is like a ghost. That love shall break which is made with anyone other than God. Nanak says the truest way of life is bearing love with the Lord. Pori, by his separation the body becomes dust and all call it a ghost. They with whom thou hast so much love do not permit thee to stay in home, even for a moment. By practicing oppression, thou hast hoarded wealth. Of what avail is that to thee now? As the mortal sows, so does he reap. This body is the field of actions. The ungrateful forget God and wander in existences. Slok Nanak says, he who utters the God's name with his tongue, all his sins are washed off, and he obtains the merit of millions of charities, ablution, and of various purification and pities. I collect lot of fuel and applied a little fire to it, and it all got reduced to ashes. Similarly, if the true Lord abides in the mind, Nanak says all the sins are washed off. Ori, myriads of sins are all destroyed by contemplating the God's name. By singing the God's praises, man obtains his heart desired boons. The fear of birth and death is removed, and an eternal and true abode is obtained. If it be so pre recorded in the destiny, the mortal becomes absorbed in the Lord's feet. Blessing me with thy grace, save me, O Lord. Nanak is the sacrifice unto thee. Slok, they who are engrossed in their beautifully built mansions and various relishes of their mind's desire and do not contemplate the Lord, those beings, Nanak says, are the worms of ordure. Forsake thou all the worldly ostentation and be not engrossed in their love. The body which forgets the Lord, Nanak says, shall be reduced to ashes. For a man may enjoy a beauteous couch, numerous players, and all sorts of enjoyments, and may possess mansions of gold studded with pearls and rubies and plastered with the sandal dust. He may further enjoy his heart desired pleasures and have no anxiety whatever, but if he contemplates not the Lord, he is like a worm of ordure. Without God's name, there is no peace. In what other way can mind find poise? Slok, the lovers of the Lord's lotus feet lovingly search him in 10 directions. They renounce the deceitful mammon, and Nanak says, join the company of the delightful holy persons. In my mind is God's name. With my mouth I utter his name and go searching him in all the lands. Nanak says, all the ostentations are false, and I live by listening the Lord's true praise. Ori, he who abides in a broken hut with all his clothes tattered, has neither high caste nor honor or respect, and wanders in wilderness, has neither a friend nor a beloved, and is without wealth, beauty, relation, or kinsman. He is yet the king of the whole world if his self is absorbed in the Lord's name. Yes, with the dust of his feet, one is emancipated because the Lord is so well pleased with him. Slok, various types of enjoyments, dominions, players, beauty, canopy, fan waving over the head or and throne to sit on, in them only unwise, ignorant, and blind are engrossed. Nanak says, desire for the wealth is like a dream. In a dream, one enjoys all the relishes, and worldly love seems sweet to him. Nanak says, without the name, the beautiful worldly valuables are but a fraud. The fool attaches his mind with dream. When he awakes, forgotten are the power, revelments, players, and he suffers disappointment. His life passes in running after worldly affairs. His affairs are not accomplished because he is attracted by mammon. What can the helpless creature do when the Lord himself strays him? Slok, the mortal may abide in heavenly land, conquer the 9 regions of the earth, but if they forgot the Lord God, Nanak says they are like the wanderer in the wilderness, where in the midst of millions of plays and entertainments, God's name is not contemplated. Nanak says that place is a wilderness and equal to leper's hell. Pori, a very terrible wilderness the man considers as a city. On beholding the false paraphernalia, he deems it to be true. Engrossed in lust, wrath, and ego, he roams about madly. When the baton of the death falls on his head, then does he regret. Without the perfect divine Guru, he moves about like a Satan, a mischievous person. Slok, deceptive is monarchy, deceptive is beauty, deceptive are wealth, pride, and lineage. Man amasses poisonous wealth with deceit and guile. Nanak says, without the Lord's name, nothing goes with him. The mortal is deluded on seeing the bitter lemon which appears beautiful from outside. However, it does not go with the mortal. Pori, why hoard that which does not go with thee when thou departest? Say, why thou endeavourest to acquire that which thou must leave behind? How can thy mind be contented by forgetting God? It cannot be pleased either. He who, forsaking the Lord, attaches himself to another abides in hell. O Lord, Nanak says, be kind and compassionate and shatter my dread. Slok, sweet are not the pleasures of empire, sweet are not the sensuous enjoyment, and sweet are not the comforts of wealth. Sweet is the company of the gods, holy men, and to slave Nanak, sweet is the Lord's sight. I have got attached to such a love by which my mind is imbued. My mind is pierced through Lord's true substance. Nanak says, truly sweet is the Lord, Pori. Without God, nothing appears sweet to his devotee slave. All other relishes are insipid, which I have tasted and seen. The ignorant, doubt, and suffering are snapped when the Guru becomes our mediator. The Lord's lotus feet have pierced through my mind, and I am dyed red like madder's hue. My life, breath, body, heart now belong to God, and all falsehood has left me. Slok, leaving water, the fish cannot live, nor the pied cuckoo on forsaking the spheres of clouds. The deer is pierced by the arrow of the bell's music, and the black bee is entangled with the fragrance of flowers. Nanak says, the saints remain absorbed in the Lord's lotus feet and desire nothing else. O Lord, show me thy face even for a moment. Then I shall not give my mind to another. Nanak says, the real life consists in abiding with the Lord's Master, who is the friend of the saints. Pori, how can fish maintain life without water? How can a sparrow hawk be satisfied without raindrops? As the deer, fascinated by music, runs straight towards the hunter, as the bumble bee, greedy after the flower's fragrance, finding it enmeshes itself into it, so do the holy devotees love their God and are sated by seeing his sight. Slok, God's devotees meditate on his lotus feet and contemplate him with each breath. They do not forget the name of imperishable being. Nanak says, the Supreme Lord fulfills their desires. The Lord is stitched into their heart and never goes out even for a twinkling of an eye. Nanak says, the true Lord fulfills their desires for everlasting sight of him. Pori, my hopes rest on thee, O Lord, pray fulfill my desire. After meeting the Lord Master, there shall be no regrets in life ever. My heart yearns for thy sight, with which all my sorrows may be removed. My body gets purified with the dust of thine feet. O Supreme Lord, the Divine Guru, thou art ever present with me. Slok, with my tongue I utter the Lord's name, and with my ears I hear the nectar name. Nanak is ever a sacrifice unto them who meditate on the Supreme Lord. All the affairs are false except devotion to the Lord. Nanak says, blessed are they who bear love to the true Lord. Pori, I am ever a sacrifice unto those who listen the Lord's discourse. Perfect and distinguished are they who bow their forehead to the Lord. The hands which write the infinite praises of the God are beautiful. Pure and holy are the feet that walk on the Lord's path. They are emancipated in the company of the saints, and all their sufferings are removed. Slok, by perfect good fortune, man's destiny is awakened, and he utters the Lord's name. Nanak says, fruitful is that moment when one obtains the sight of the Lord. The value of that moment cannot be appraised, and its bliss is beyond measure. Nanak says, that time alone is approved when my beloved meets me.